man named Scott Fovel, that's him, who was a contractor for Democracy Partners, is seen and heard discussing hiring people to attend Trump rallies and basically to start fights.
Acorn says the vast majority of its workers are conscientious, but some might have turned in duplicate applications or provided fake information to pad their pay.
I have 180 days to turn them into revolutionaries.
How do you do that? How do you
scare the out of them?
Yeah.
My name is James O'Keefe. I'm the founder of Project Veritas, and we run the nation's premier, perhaps the nation's only, undercover investigative journalism organization. We've broken a lot of big stories, and our mission is to expose waste, fraud, and abuse, and to be a catalyst for citizen empowerment, to expose what's going on the inside, to make public what many people in power want to remain private.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it.
So that was Amy Robach from ABC News on Good Morning America in between a commercial break, recorded by someone inside of ABC News working with Project Veritas. She's bemoaning the fact that her employer, ABC News, owned by Disney, which is a children's company, spiked or canceled her story on Jeff Epstein in order to protect the British royal family and the Clintons. And we would not have been able to publish that story, but not for the fact that someone inside ABC News met with me and worked with me. And that's the new model of Project Veritas, whistleblowing and working with insiders. And that person still works for ABC News. In fact, that person still communicates with me. Apparently, the president of ABC News, I believe his name was Goldstein, was close with Prince Andrew in the United Kingdom. So this is the idea that there's a kind of symbiotic relationship between the people in power and the people in the executive level of media organizations. And, you know, the whole idea of journalism is you have to pursue the truth without fear or favor, without favoritism. The fact that you can record that and get it out on social media is changing everything.
You're about to see one of CNN's most prominent left-leaning political commentators in total agreement with President Trump.
Hey, man. We met in Palm Springs a few years back.
Good to see you, man. You good?
Yeah. How you been? What are you doing?
Good.
What do you think's going to happen this week? I mean, with the whole Russia thing.
The Russia thing is just a big nothing burger.
Really?
Then why is CNN constantly like Russia this, Russia that?
Because it's ratings.
Because it's ratings?
Our ratings are incredible right now.
But honestly, you think the whole Russia shit is just like
Could be. I mean, it's mostly bull right now. Like, we don't have any big giant proof.
So he's saying that the Russia story, this is a CNN supervising producer in Atlanta, that the story that they air all the time and is in his words, well, and they don't have any proof of it, yet they continue to air it. Why is Van Jones and John Bonifield willing to say this to a stranger in the hallway, but not have the courage to say it on the air? And of course, their response to this, or Van Jones, was that I selectively edited him. It's literally a 20-second meeting. There wasn't any edit made. It was just the in and out. But they have nothing to say, so they attack us with ad hominem attacks, which is really disgraceful.
This guy is a hoaxer. He's a fraudster. He's been convicted. He's paid fines. He had to apologize. He's a scumbag, and he does this stuff all the time.
Yeah, and there's a moment, in the next moment, Anderson Cooper says, so what did you mean by what you said? It was a great moment. I mean, he's calling me a scumbag and a hoaxer and a fraudster, but I didn't do anything. I just assimilated myself with you, Van Jones, and let you talk. It's just illogical, it's irrational, it's sick, and this is why people don't do what I do, or we do, because they get this sort of treatment. But I think it's important to do the right thing, even if it leads to these sorts of ad hominem attacks. Again, there was no edit made. It was quite literally a 25-second conversation. We went undercover in Planned Parenthood back in 2008, exposed them. They fired a couple staffers for lying about statutory rape. Another undercover investigation in Planned Parenthood in 2007 showing racist comments in Idaho. They fired Autumn Kersey, one of their vice presidents. Went undercover in Acorn in 2009. led to the congressional defunding of ACORN with President Obama signing that legislation. Both houses were democratically controlled. I'm not even sure the Republicans can do that. In 2010, the New Jersey Teachers Union suspended a teacher for saying that you could use a racial slur against a student. Her name was Alyssa Ploshnik. She was suspended. 2011 went undercover into National Public Radio. The CEO of NPR, Vivian Schiller, resigned. The chief financial officer, Ron Schiller, resigned after we posed as members of the Muslim Brotherhood and said we wanted to front a $5 million donation. And they made anti-Semitic comments about Jews controlling the newspapers. They all resigned. In 2012, we went undercover into multiple states showing voter irregularities, including dead people voting in New Hampshire. That led to a voter ID law being enacted, which overrode Governor Lynch, then Democratic governor of New Hampshire's veto of that legislation. Multiple states changed their voter ID laws after we showed that we could get Eric Holder's ballot. A 61-year-old African-American attorney general's ballot was offered out to our Caucasian 23-year-old reporter who said Eric Holder's name at his polling place.
I actually forgot my ID.
You don't need it, it's all right.
In 2016, we did investigations of the Hillary Clinton campaign that led to the resignation of Bob Creamer, best friend of Barack Obama, Scott Fovel saying he was inciting violence at Trump rallies. That led to them suing us. We won that defamation lawsuit in federal court against Shirley Teeter in 2018. In 2017, we did the CNN undercover investigations. 2018, we did investigations into the State Department, the Justice Department, and the Government Accountability Office. All 3 federal employees resigned in disgrace. And the Justice Department launched an investigation after we showed Allison Raybar saying she was using resources to scan people's license plates. This past 2 years, we did the Amy Robach ABC investigation on Jeffrey Epstein. This past year was probably one of the biggest in our history. We've had whistleblowers inside Facebook, Google, inside the tech companies, inside media, inside Twitter. We showed people saying that they were shadow banning. We've exposed Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey, people on their executive committees leaking us footage. Many people have resigned or have been fired, and just last week we got a teacher fired in Sacramento, California for praising Antifa and saying he wanted to scare the out of students. I started this because I was watching the media and reading the paper in college, and I was really upset about what I saw, and I felt compelled to do something about it, and that's why we have this motto, which is be brave, do something. We believe that it's important for people to do the right thing and to expose the truth. What's happening right now is you got people inside pharmaceutical companies contacting us, federal agencies, the military. I think it's safe to say the powers that be are more afraid of us than we are of them, because I've read hundreds of books on undercover journalism, and it really went out of favor in the 1970s, 80s, and 90s. They stopped giving awards for it. People viewed it as unethical because you posed as something you're not. But the problem is that in order to get people to be honest with you, you oftentimes can't present yourself as a journalist because people will be dishonest with you if you present yourself as a journalist. Basically what happened is they stopped awarding Pulitzer Prizes to these people. They stopped getting awards. It was too expensive, and it went out of favor. But we are resurrecting it because we believe that it's the only way to get the information. Even though censorship occurs, we believe in distribution by proxy. In other words, they can't censor everyone. Jack Dorsey can't ban every single one of you. He can't do that. So what you can do is tweet out our videos. You know, we go subscribe to us on Telegram. That teacher video got over 1 million views on Twitter, even though I'm banned on Twitter. Project Veritas was trending on Twitter. So I encourage people to not complain about the problems, but to find the solution. And the solution is keep sharing our information. And if the story is strong enough, people will watch it. The day after the teacher said there was to be fired in the school board meeting, our office is flooded, 6-7 feet of water. We've discovered has destroyed everything. Now, things can be replaced, but there's over $1 million in damage, so we have to rebuild the office somewhere, and we appreciate your donations and support. We've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars already. And if you can't afford to give us support for our nonprofit, then our tip line is Veritas Tips. That's Veritas Tips at protonmail.com. And that's how we get our information, is people emailing us. So Veritas Tips at protonmail.com. And the third way to support us is simply to share our videos on Telegram, on Twitter, on Instagram. Every one of you can share these videos. People cannot continue to deny the existence of objective reality. You got to keep sharing the truth. So donate, send us a tip, share our videos.